Hi, this is Craig Stocks here at Utah Desert Remote Observatories. You can find us online at utahdesertremote.com. And today we're going to look at M101. And in particular, we're going to work with some data that has some problems in the background that is probably a common problem. And I'm going to show you an easy way to deal with that in Photoshop. So as always, I'm going to start in PixInsight, and I'm actually going to start with PiMagic Studio. And this is a workflow automation that does most of the grunt work for you. So I'm simply going to add the folder that contains the data, and so that's on the D drive M101 for me. And then I'll also add my calibration master, so I'll just add folder again and go to my calibration masters, and here's the plane wave with the color camera. So now we've got a total of 165 files selected. I would do a quick filter check, and it confirms that I've got a dual narrowband, that's the option along L enhance, and then just a plain one-shot color using a clear glass filter. Apply and close. And then auto detect, and auto detect in version 2.0 basically sets up all of the parameters that it's going to run. At this point, the start button turns green, and I just press start. I've actually already run this data, so we're not going to run it now, but it would run through the process, and when it's done, I could then go to Photoshop, and using the Astromagic tool, I would choose the Import tools, click on Import Folder, and navigate to the folder where I saved the M101 data, and it's right here. So click Select Folder, and now what Astromagic is going to do is dig through all the folders and subfolders and find the files that it wants and start loading them into Photoshop. And you can start to get a little bit of a preview here. You can see that the data was not all captured with the camera at the same rotation angle. So some of the data, we have what looks like a rectangle at maybe a 45-degree angle, and the rest of the data was captured with it horizontal. So we've got this uneven background. Now this is a particularly easy one to fix because there's not much that we really want to salvage in the background. So it's done loading, and you can see that we have got our metadata loaded, and that's up here telling me the number of frames and so forth, and then the stars, and then global adjustments, and then the RGB data, and then the L enhance data. So I'm going to do this kind of a very simple way. With both of these turned on, we're actually getting data from both the RGB and the dual narrowband combined. So that's why we are seeing a fair amount of the hydrogen emission regions here. If I go into the hydrogen, oxygen, or this dual narrowband data, if I just increase the brightness of the dual narrowband and darken the darks, that will bring in a little bit more of the hydrogen regions. And I'm not going to focus on that too much here. This is a pretty good intermediate result, but we have this very uneven background. As you can see, it's splotchy. We've got a bright area here, a little bit of red splotchiness throughout. The red splotchiness is probably coming from this dual narrowband because that's going to have a more dominant red channel. So I can probably get rid of some of that red in the dark areas by just darkening the blacks a little bit more in the dual narrowband. Yes, that helps it in the areas that are dark. It doesn't help it so much in these brighter areas. So to deal with these brighter areas, I'm going to use two tools that are provided in the way that Astromagic loads the data. Now, there's nothing special to Astromagic about these layers and the adjustment layers. They're just standard Photoshop processes and tools. but AstroMagic configures them so they're available, easy, ready to use without having to go hunting for them. And those are in the Global Adjustments layer group. So I'm going to open up this Global Adjustments. And if we look at the layers that are provided for us in the Global Adjustments, we've got this Burn and Dodge layer, which I don't use very often in the demonstrations, but we are going to use it today. It's a very useful one. Then there's just a global levels adjustment, and we would use that for overall brightness and contrast. A color balance, if we want to adjust the color balance of the image. A hue saturation, if we want to increase the saturation of the image. And then this last one is a solid color fill layer. And if I look at just that layer, if I hold the alternate or option key on a Mac and click on the eyeball next to a layer or layer group, it'll turn everything off but that layer. And this solid color fill, if we look at the properties, if I double click on it, it'll bring up the color picker. We can see that it's set to RGB values of 19, 19, 19. So it's a very dark gray, almost black. And most systems, most printers, once you get below certainly 10 to 15 RGB values, you're not going to have any detail left. It's just going to appear as pure black. So at 19, 19, 19, it's starting to skate very close to that area where anything darker than this is going to be perceived as just pure black with no detail. Now I've got this very dark layer, ironically, in Lighten blending mode. We can see that right here in the blending mode drop down. So what this is doing is any feature that is darker than 19, 19, 19 is going to be lightened or kept at that 19, 19, 19 layer. Anything brighter than that is unaffected by this. So if I turn all the other layers back on, if I turn this layer off and on just by itself, we're not seeing any difference. Let me put a mask on here. So I'm going to just grab the polygonal lasso with the L key, and we'll just make a kind of a triangular map here, and then I'm going to fill that selected area with black. So, and then Control D to deselect. And if we look at the mask, we can see that half the mask is black, half the mask is white. That means this layer is hidden on this bottom right corner of the image. Now if I go to my global levels, if I darken the blacks, we're going to begin to see, because of this mask, exactly where this layer is having an effect. So if I darken the blacks by moving the black slider to the right, and I don't know how well you can see it, but anything inside this masked area, we are not applying this 19, 19, 19 layer, so it actually goes to pure black, and it becomes the same color as my black background. The area above that is being supported by this black layer, so it becomes a 19, 19, 19 almost black, but notice it also becomes very smooth. We lose all of that mottling noise. We even lose, if we look at this diagonal here where the frame wasn't aligned, as I darken the background, that just all blends together. Now I'm not blackening everything. Notice these galaxies are still there, even these small galaxies in the background. So we're not taking out anything that has detail that's brighter than what we want. We're just knocking out the stuff that's very close to black and mostly just noisy. And because of this mask, it hasn't affected the lower right. And I'm doing this just to demonstrate how this works. A lot of times, even here on my calibrated monitor, it's difficult to see where this layer is having an effect and where it's not. So I'm going to add an inspection layer that will help me visualize it even more. So I'm going to add, in this case I'm going to use curves. I'm just going to add a curves adjustment layer right above this solid color fill, and I'm just going to grab the center of this curve and move it to the left. And what I've done is just make everything real bright so that even this 1919 now is being brightened again. But that makes it very easy to see that we still do have some noise in this dark area. And of course, in the area where we're not applying the black fill, we have a lot of noise going on. So we'd like to clean this up even more. And if I go back to my levels and adjust the blacks a little bit more, I can be more aggressive. But at some point I start encroaching on the nebula or the galaxy that I want to preserve. So I don't always want to just blacken the background. And if I turn off this mask, by the way, so now this layer is being affected, having an effect everywhere. Go back to the levels. I can drive this down to where the 1919 layer is affecting everywhere, but it's really started to erode into the galaxy, and I don't want to do that. So let's reset this RGB, this adjustment level, and I'm going to do that with the curved back arrow to reset this adjustment layer. So this is what it looks like before doing anything. And just as a reminder, we've got our solid color fill, and then we've got this inspection layer, which is the curves. In fact, I'll even rename it inspection layer. And this is just going to be there to help us visualize what's happening in this dark area by making it brighter. You can almost think of it as a little bit like the screen transfer function in PixInsight. We're not changing the image, we're just brightening it up so that we can see it more easily. So I'm going to start just like we did before. I'm going to use the black slider and take out a lot of that background, but I'm not going to get real aggressive with it. What I'm going to do now to clean up the areas where I want to do more work, now I'm going to use this burn and dodge layer. And I'm going to target this, what looks like a blank layer, and you'll notice it's in soft light blending mode. And what soft light blending mode does is darken. If I paint with black, it will darken what's below or what's visible. If I paint with white, it will lighten. In this case, I want to darken these areas that are not quite brought down to at or below the 1919 to smooth out the background. So I'm going to choose my brush tool by choosing the brush or tapping B on the keyboard with black as my foreground color. And I'm going to start fairly aggressively at like 40% opacity, which you can drop down and choose something around 40. You can use the scrubby slider by just clicking and dragging over the word opacity, or you can just tap the 4 key on the keyboard and that would choose 40%. And now if I paint with 40% black, and I'll start over here where it's quite bright, I'll make the brush a little smaller, paint in this corner, and as I'm making repeated strokes, you can see that that bright red area now has disappeared. I'll do the same thing down here. And notice it's not wiping out these little galaxies. It's darkening everything because this area is too bright. And I'll just gradually go to a smaller and smaller brush and focus more on the areas that are too bright. I think now I'm going to go to say a 20% brush. And you can use a 20% or 10% opacity brush and just click more times. And so each time you see the brush moving, I'm clicking and painting. Click and paint. This is just a bright area of a star. If I turn the stars on, you can see there's a very bright star there. And I'm just going to knock out all of that glare around the star. You do have to use some judgment to determine what's noise and what's actual features, because you certainly don't want to take out features that should be there, but you don't want to leave features that are artificial and should not be there. So that's the challenge. And at this point it looks pretty clean, so I'm going to turn the inspection layer off, and now we see what the image really looks like. Is we have a nice smooth background. The galaxy itself is really unaffected. If I turn this burn and dodge layer off and on, you can see the features that are in the background, like this little nebula here, the galaxies here, those are unaffected. We didn't wipe them out. We didn't paint black over the image with solid black. We just darkened things. And because these galaxies and nebulae were in areas that were too bright, we brought them down to a proper level so that they blend in. Looks like I might have, and this is where it becomes tricky. Now that looks like it's mostly real data, so I'm going to leave that and turn the inspection layer back off. Now I can go about doing my normal editing. So I might want to use my global levels adjustment and brighten the midtones a little bit. And as I do that, I may need to push the blacks back down a little. One thing I've started doing more frequently is using when I'm pretty much done editing, I'll add a little bit more saturation. And now I'm going to, I think I'm going to take out a little bit more of these red areas. Clean that up. I'm going to go above my solid color fill layer, and I'm going to add a brightness and contrast, and I'll increase the contrast a little bit, and then I may play with the brightness overall. Now if I want to balance the brightness of the core of a galaxy, if I feel like it's too bright, I can use this same burn and dodge layer, and with a very low opacity, like 5 or 10% brush, I can paint with black over this bright area and just tone it down a little bit. And if there's areas I want to brighten, I can switch to white and brighten those areas to get a better balance of the bright and dark areas of the galaxy. Now if we turn the stars back on, we have a fairly complete image with that background cleaned up. If I turn the inspection layer back on, looks like I've got a few areas that I need to fine tune. And most of these would probably not be visible in the finished image, but I like to make sure that it's completely clean in the background. So we're just selectively darkening the background. I'm not painting in detail, I'm not painting out detail, I'm just balancing the brightness of the background with the foreground. And turn the inspection layer back off. And I would say that's pretty close to a finished image. So I hope you found this useful. It's not uncommon to have noise that is really just noise, doesn't add anything to the image. Rather than trying to crop it out, I can keep the star field, I can keep everything in place, and just by selectively lightening and darkening those areas, I can blend them together or make them completely disappear with this solid color fill layer that we get as a part of every image that's loaded through AstroMagic. You can certainly just create those on your own if you aren't using AstroMagic. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, drop those in the comments down below. And as always, I hope you have a great day today and an even better night tonight under a clear, dark sky. Thanks.